Oh my Lord, I'm so sorry, guys. I was talking to you all for the last 10 minutes and did not realize I hadn't entered the studio or gone live yet. So my apologies. I'm solo today, and well, I'm doing a bang up job already. So if you got tired of waiting, I really apologize. So I just pulled out a whole bunch of recipes and showed them to the screen that nobody saw. Um, So I've got a lot of stuff. I have a make your own Kahlua recipe. I was showing this. Can you guys see and hear me? Whoever's out there in TV land. And that's my pemmican recipe I was telling you guys about. If you guys want, I'll share that with you. I've got a lot of things here, so I guess let's get to it. Oh yeah, and here, remember I talked about making flour out of acorns. There's your recipe for acorn bread. So, just saying, I do apologize. I do apologize for keeping you guys waiting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our neck of the woods. I'm stumbling around in them today. All right. So, in our family, our favorite seasoning is a Mexican seasoning, and I call it that loosely. Because it's probably closer to a Cuban type of seasoning, because I actually really love Cuban food. I used to know this really nice little old Cuban lady who I just adored, and she would cook some of the most fantastic food I'd ever eaten. And so it's a little like that, but it's like a homemade taco seasoning. So we're going to call it that just for the sake of, commonality. And I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to read it off, okay? So I'm going to read this off, and then I'll hold it up for you guys. I'm going to try not to go too fast, but I'm going to try not to go too slow. So here's my recipe for homemade taco seasoning. 1 tablespoon chili powder, and sometimes we use chipotle powder in place of chili powder. 1 teaspoon garlic powder, and I'm going to say this, I prefer to use minced garlic or fresh garlic when I can, but dried minced garlic when I can't. And I prefer that to the powder. 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And again, fresh is always better, but if that's what you have, use it. 1/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes. And it does not make it really spicy, but that capsicum really does add that little bit of oomph to it, You're going to want 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. And here I'm going to stop again and say we prefer smoked paprika. It's got a little bit of a bacony kind of flavor, but it just really amps up the flavor of the dish. So we prefer the smoked. The original recipe calls for just plain paprika. Whichever you use is fine, or if you cut it out altogether, that's fine too. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. You mix them all together. You store them in an airtight container. You use about 2 tablespoons of this mix with about 1 pound of burger or ground chicken or ground turkey or whatever meat you use for, your tacos or your burritos or however you guys do it. So it's normal like you would do at the store. The original recipe says, you cook the meat and then you add in about 2 tablespoons per pound of meat and 1/8 of a cup of water, and then you cook it down so everything gets in. Now, I'm going to tell you what I do. I don't look at this at all, all right? What I do, and I'll hold it up here for a few minutes. What I do is I season my meat while I cook it. And that way it gets a really nice flavor. And then I can change things depending on the way it smells. I cook by smell a lot and to bring out flavors. So that's how I do it. And then I put it all right in the pan. And then once it's all cooked, I add a little bit of water, and I don't even use an eighth of a cup. I just add a little bit of water into it, and I stir it around, and that way the seasonings can can disperse more evenly throughout the meat. And that's how we do our homemade Mexican. Like I said, there are certain things that, we eat a lot of Mexican style flavoring food. So for me, it's easier for me to just have the spices and use them than it is to have a spice mix made up for this, because it's frequent. And we use so much of these spices in a lot of different dishes that I buy them in bulk at the bulk store, which is an Amish store that we have around here. So there you go. That's my homemade taco seasoning. And if I go too fast, or you want me to elaborate, or you have a question, pop it in the chat. I'm going to try and keep an eye on it. Y'all know I'm solo today, and I've already messed up like a couple times. So, all right. So let's see here. I'm going to share my flour tortilla recipe with you guys, because this is a go-to in our family. For a while, yeah, it is much healthier if you're making it yourself. Listen, when you make your own seasonings, right, to cook with, what you're not getting is all the preservatives and the anti-caking agents that these manufacturers are putting in. And they do use a lot of anti-caking things. Sometimes you'll find MSG in those seasoning packets. Other times you'll find aspartame or xylitol. If you guys don't know about those things, many are cancer-causing agents. Many of them are carcinogens. I used to suffer migraines, severe migraines that would put me out of commission. I couldn't stand light. I couldn't stand sound. And sometimes they would last for weeks at a time. And I had a real bad way of it. And then I discovered some stuff about aspartame and MSG that, and yes, it is true, MSG does naturally occur within your body, due to your body's reaction to certain things. Okay, I get that. Normal levels of certain things are fine. But when you are putting it into every kind of food, it can become poison, okay? And so you have to watch out for that. So first off, I cut aspartame and MSG out of my diet completely, right? Stopped chewing bubble gum, because almost all of them are made with aspartame. I stopped drinking every soda but ones that contained real sugar. Real sugar in moderation is not bad for you. Okay. Do a little bit of research on that, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people jump from one thing to another. In the 80s, they told us eggs were bad for us. And then they turned around and were like, eggs are the best source of protein. And then, oh my gosh, milk is bad for you. And then it was, oh, milk's healthy. Do you got milk? So use discernment, dig deeper, okay? Because if you're not digging deeper, you're only going to get that surface level crap they're trying to feed everybody anyway. So that's my take on it. So flour tortillas, we do this a lot instead of bread, all right? I have two go-to skillet bread recipes that I use for our family that work out really well. And that's Indian fry bread and flour tortillas. And I no longer use the recipes because I make them so often. And it's, that's what works for us. So my flour tortillas, 2 cups all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of salt, and we prefer pink Himalayan salt because it has the minerals and things in it that regular bleached out table salts don't have. 3/4 cup of water, and then 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, I no longer use this recipe. I throw a bunch of flour into a bowl, and I estimate my water and my olive oil because I use the recipe long enough to know what the dough consistency should be, okay? And this is going to make you about 8 tortillas. And you can do them in a skillet. if you got like a non-stick skillet, you do not have to do these in any kind of oil, okay? You can like dry fry these on a skillet or even on a rock by the fire, and they're delicious. They are absolutely delicious. And you just flip them. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm trying to use a better camera for you guys today. We got our hands on a better camera, was gifted to us. So, yeah, so that's my flour tortilla. It's real simple. After you make them a couple times, you're really going to get a feel for them. And then, you know, you let it, you make your dough, you cover it, you let it sit and rest for like 10, 15 minutes. Split it into 8, and then stretch them out. You can use a roller. I'm going to tell you, I do a lot of stuff on the fly. I'll pull those little dough balls out and I'll stretch them out like I'm Italian, you know, and I'll get the thumb motion going and like I'm doing pizza dough. And then I get them and I'll put them down into the pan and I use my spatula and flatten them out the rest of the way. That's my cheat. Okay. That's my cheat. It works for us. My family doesn't care if they're perfectly round. And to me, it doesn't matter if they're perfectly round because, you know, you're folding it into a square. You're folding a circle into a square anyway, right? So, yeah, I love my cast iron too. I love my cast iron too. Ah, mi bella. No wonder you like it when I say that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so those are like regular meals in our house. Like at least once a week we try to have Mexican. And those are my 2 bases, and everything else, like we have a lot of dry beans. I'll soak beans through the week, and then I keep them in a mason jar. You know, I'll cook them up. I'll keep them in a mason jar, and then I'll take out what I need, and I'll make my own refried beans because that's nothing but cooked beans mashed up, really. And I throw a little bit of cumin in there and a little bit of chipotle powder and you know, garlic, onion, and we're good to go, right? So, and that's delicious. Let me see here. And I want to share my, I've got a Italian dressing, French dressing, teething biscuits for you guys that have little ones that are teething. And here's my homemade ranch. I do have some health recipes in here too. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Let me know. And I will share my homemade chocolate syrup recipe. You're going to find that it's much tastier if you're making your own chocolate syrup at home for the kids or even for yourself. And it's healthier. So, because you're going to benefit, making your own, you're going to benefit from the actual antioxidants that are in chocolate instead of all the crap that they sell in the bottles on the shelf. And it's just it's so easy to make. So let me go with my ranch, and then we'll move on to that stuff. That man could eat anything and not. He's blessed. He's blessed. I wish I had his metabolism. I really do. All right, so homemade ranch dressing. You guys ready? I'll try to go not too fast. Half a cup of dried buttermilk. Now, if you're going and looking for this on a store shelf, you're not going to find it in a big box store. You're probably going to have to go somewhere where they sell bulk stuff, or like a country store will sell it. You can get it on Amazon, but you're going to look for buttermilk solids. Okay, that's what dehydrated buttermilk is. Buttermilk solids. All right. So a half a cup of dried buttermilk, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley flakes, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And in the ranch one, I still use the minced garlic because that's what I prefer. And because we dehydrate a lot of stuff, including garlic. Like I'll buy the whole bags of them, you know, if I haven't had a good growing season. I'll buy one of those little mesh bags full of garlic heads, and I'll chop that stuff up and I'll throw it on the dehydrator, and there's my minced garlic for the whole year. So, just a tip. 1 tablespoon of dried chopped onion, 2 teaspoons dried chives, I don't have a green screen. If I do, it's not showing up on my end. Let's see here. 1, 2. I don't know where I was, guys. I'm going to start over at chives. There are 2 teaspoons of dried chives, 2 teaspoons of dried dill weed. Now, I'm going to add something here because when I make this recipe for the dried ranch mix, I put dill seed in there as well because we really like dill. And I like a stronger dill flavor. So I'll put dill weed and dill seed because dill seed is going to give you just that little bit more dill push to it, you know, and it gives it a really nice flavor. 2 teaspoons of salt. And again, we like the pink Himalayan or the Celtic sea salt. That's really good as well. 2 teaspoons of pepper. Now, you mix all this together, you set it in a jar. This has a shelf life because you're using dehydrated buttermilk. And you're also going to want to use an oxygen absorber, okay? You can get it out of packages. You can make them yourself. They're really easy to make, and they're very cheap. You know, you can make them very cheaply. I can do a video on that if you guys like. But you're going to combine all of these, and then you're going to pop them into an airtight container to make these up. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of your mix, right? A half a cup of mayo, or 1 cup of yogurt, or 1 cup of sour cream, or whatever other substitute in that category that you would like to use. You can use kefir. It has a different flavor to it, but again, you can do that. 1/3 to 1/2 cup of milk. You guys that don't drink milk out there, you already know what your substitutes are. You already know what flavors change, and so you already usually have a pretty good idea of what you can substitute in there. And then you're going to do, and then it says a half a cup of plain Greek yogurt. Well, again, you know, you can do that yogurt. You can do yogurt or sour cream. I've actually made it with ricotta cheese. That's pretty good, but you got to use it up pretty quickly. And it'll store in a container for about 9 months before it goes out the window. If you can make your homemade ranch dressing last that long, good on you, because we can't in this house. That little one, she loves it. Now, the other thing is, when you make this dressing with your mix, you're going to want to let it set for a couple hours, right? So that all those flavors can combine. And because if you make it and use it right away, it's not going to have the same intensity. It's not going to have the same flavor palette. You know, your palate's not going to pick up on all the different flavors. So you're going to want to make it ahead of time. A night before is great because by the next day, that stuff is just so flavorful. And this is, we found that we like this better than any ranch we found on the shelf. So there you go. That's the homemade ranch, and I'll hold that up here for a second. Can you guys see it? I don't know. I tried to get a better camera just for showing this stuff to you guys. And if there's any you guys want me to go over again, please let me know and I will, right? Or email me and I can email you a copy of the recipe and I'll just type it into the email if there's like one that really caught your eye that you didn't quite catch. So we're going to move on a little bit. Let's share a fun one that's real short. Hi, Travis. How you doing? I was glad to see you're still standing. Heard you got taken down last night. All right, so chocolate syrup, you guys. Homemade chocolate syrup is just amazing. Prep time's like 5 minutes. Cook time's like 5 minutes. So simple and easy. Are you ready for this one? Your ingredients are 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of white sugar, 1 cup of cocoa powder, and I like Dutch cocoa or dark chocolate cocoa. And Dutch cocoa has a lot of, it's like really antioxidant rich, like dark chocolate. So if you're not a dark chocolate fan, which I am, but if you're not a dark chocolate fan, Dutch cocoa might be the way for you to go. It's closer to a milk chocolate with all the benefits of dark chocolate. 1 dash of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And you can make your own vanilla extract. Listen, vanilla beans are really expensive, right? But the thing about it is it's a one-time investment, right? You get those vanilla beans and some vodka, and it doesn't even have to be really expensive vodka. It can be cheap vodka. You put those vanilla beans in a jar. You put that vodka in a jar. You seal that up, and you set it in a nice dark place for a couple months. You shake it every couple weeks. Go in and shake it up. Those vanilla beans, you can empty out. You can, what they call decanter, right? Take out the liquid, the vanilla extract, and then just put more vodka in there. I know a lady who still is using the same set of vanilla beans 25 years later, and they are still producing really good vanilla extract. Okay. One-time investment, worth the money, promise. So, all right. So you got your water, your sugar, your cocoa powder, your salt, and your vanilla extract. You are going to put your water, your sugar, your cocoa powder, and your salt in your saucepan, low heat. You're going to whisk it constantly until it starts to thicken and comes to a simmer. You're going to remove it from the heat, and then you're going to stir in the vanilla, right? You don't want to put that vanilla in during the cooking process, because vanilla extract is made with alcohol. So it'll dissipate some of that flavor if you do that. And don't worry, the heat's going to dry off the alcohol anyways. It's non-alcoholic, still safe for kids. But I do recommend using a real vanilla extract versus an imitation vanilla extract. And that's my personal opinion, because of the things they use to make an imitation aren't great. So, and then you can serve it warm, or you can pop it in a bottle, in like a salad dressing bottle, and put it in the fridge. And it's great. You use it to make chocolate milk. You can use it over ice cream, on desserts. There's so much chocolate syrup, right? And if you want dark chocolate syrup, all you got to do is go buy some dark chocolate cocoa powder, and you're set. Same deal, right? So, that's chocolate syrup, and we make it all the time, and we enjoy it. I don't know. Can you guys see this one? Whoop. I don't know if you can even see it, guys. I'm trying here. We did. Can somebody give me a thumbs up or something? Is the camera better today for you guys? Is the sound okay? Because I'm just going to rattle on until somebody stops me. Anybody? Checking 1, 2. Hello? Bit small. Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, you guys can email me for any one of these, and I'll send it to you. Okay. I don't have a problem doing that, because this is how we help each other out. This is information that's going to be useful somewhere down the line, right? When other things aren't available, you're still going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. Thank you, Bella. All right. So, do you guys want the dandelion jelly recipe? Or are we going to just stick with, do we want to just stick with seasonings today? Because I'm game, if you guys are. All right. So, well, I guess we'll try to. But for a cone of vision, yeah. my mother-in-law was kind enough to lend us her little camera that she used to Skype with her friends with. And she's lent us this camera to try and give you guys some clarity. I know my whole wreck of a unfinished house back here behind me is not the best green screen in the world, but it is what it is, and life is what it is. We're all works in progress, right? So bear with us. We're just trying to help the best way we can. Gosh, you guys. All right, so here's another one of these really helpful tips that I think, like, if you're going to try having some from scratch stuff, awesome, Bella. You're going to need to know how to make some of your own ingredients, right? Give me 1 second, guys. I got something to show you. All right, so our Navajo fry bread that we make our recipe, it's flour, baking soda, salt, and water. That's all it is, right? And then you can deep fry it. We also use that very same recipe for pizzas. We'll do like skillet pizzas. And we use the Navajo fry bread. There's 0 sugar in that pizza crust. And then my husband and I have a mixture that we really like that we put on top of them when they're, and then we'll put the sauce over that. And that's it's olive oil, Italian seasoning, which is just like thyme, rosemary, oregano, and it'll come to me. Give me a minute. Okay, I can't quite remember right now. But Italian seasoning, generic Italian seasoning works too. And then I like a little extra rosemary, and then he puts some Parmesan and garlic, and we mix that together. And that is you can, because it's in the oil, it's pretty shelf stable. We don't mix up a whole great big bunch of it at a time. We mix up a little bit, but then we end up using it on a lot of things. So that's a nice little flavor. Basil, thank you, Bella. Yes, the digestive aid, right? All right, so baking powder. You guys all know, everybody knows what baking powder is, or they've seen it in their mom's or their grandma's kitchen, right? Baking powder. You can make your own baking powder. And the reason you would want to is because when you buy store-bought baking powder, I'm going to read this off to you here. Cornstarch, sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, and then sodium aluminum sulfate. And that should ring some bells, because you shouldn't be eating the cans your soda comes in, right? And then the monocalcium phosphate is just an anti-caking agent. But what they're not telling you is that cornstarch is an anti-caking agent, right? That's natural. So if you want to be able to make your own baking powder, now this is not what it actually says it is. This is, I started making my own, and this was just a nice little can for me to keep it in. But to make your own baking powder, you're going to use 2 parts of cream of tartar, 1 part baking soda, and 1 part cornstarch. And it's as simple as that. And it's just as shelf stable as the stuff you can buy at the grocery store. And like I said, we use that for we use that for our Navajo fry bread, and we use it for what did I do with it? Okay, we don't use milk in ours, but here's the recipe for Indian fry bread. Okay, we don't use milk in ours because sometimes we don't have milk, and that's and it's fine without it. It does change the flavor of it. Hey, Liz. Hi, Deanna. But it's just as good without. And again, you can make this as a bread, just as a bread, like a tear apart bread for the family to eat with dinner. So we don't do the store-bought sandwich bread anymore. I do make bread occasionally, but I try to save that like for fall and winter, because baking indoors and you're trying not to run up your electric bill. Hi, Dana. So you guys maybe haven't seen Dana in chat before, but that woman probably knows me better than my husband even does. She's known me for a long time, back when I was beautiful without my silver streaks. All right. So yeah, and then self-rising flour to follow that up, right? To follow up the making your own baking soda, self-rising flour.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I sat here for 10 minutes talking to nobody because I wasn't live, and I thought I was.
Oh, got to hit the go button, huh?
So self-rising flour is 1 cup all-purpose flour. So if you can get nothing else, and you're trying to do something that's going to be like all around good, right? Just buy yourself some all-purpose flour. You can do a lot with that. 1 cup all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. That's it. That's all self-rising flour is. Now, if you take your self-rising flour, right, and you add some buttermilk to it, and you can reconstitute those buttermilk solids that you bought to make your ranch dressing mix and make buttermilk out of it, and then there's your 2-ingredient biscuits, and they come out really nice and light and fluffy. So, you know, multi-purpose.
Just how the quality of the picture was today.
Yeah, it's yeah. Bella said it's better, and she says hi, Jeff, and so does Dana.
Yeah, we were gifted a
Southern's in and Working's
webcam.
in. Yeah, I was saying we were gifted that, and I was trying to make it where we could. So, what do you guys want to hear?
I'm not trying to interrupt. Sorry, girls.
Yeah. What else do you want to? I don't know what else to share with you guys. I got a ton of recipes I'd love to share with you, but I don't want to share a bunch of stuff that nobody's interested in. Are you interested in the dandelion jelly? The homemade saltines or tortilla chips? Right on, Dana. Drive safe, honey. I have garlic syrup.
She joined you today.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Dr. Colbert's cough remedies. I don't know. You guys have heard of that, I'm sure. But do you know how to make it? Right. So if you guys are interested in some of the healthier stuff, Mary Jane butter. I don't have that recipe, but I know a friend of mine that does. Why don't you send it to me and I can put it up? I will put it up for you too. All right, you guys. All right, so I do have a couple more like I said I do like mixes today, right? So here's an Italian dressing mix. I can look it up, Dana. I'll put it in another. We'll do another video about that some other point. All right, you guys. So this is a kind of like a Good Seasons copycat dressing. It's not exactly, and again, listen, any recipe you have, if you're not tweaking it, you need to learn how to tweak it to your own preferences and to your own flavor preferences, because that's what makes it yours. That's what makes it enjoyable. That's what makes it not the store brand, right? That and all the chemicals and preservatives and stuff. But you know, you should always play with that. And if you're not sure what you're doing, use your nose, because cooking by smell will get you a long ways.
And taste.
Yeah, and taste. But this, you know, part of how your taste buds react to things is how your nose perceives them. So you think about that's why nothing tastes good when you're sick and you can't breathe, because when your nose doesn't work, your tongue doesn't properly accept flavors. I don't know Crazy, but it's true. All right, you guys. So here's the Italian dressing. 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon onion powder, 2 tablespoons oregano, 1 tablespoon sugar, which I leave that out until the end because I don't like to have sugar on the shelf in the pantry, like as dry mix. That's just my personal preference. So I put that as an add in, when you're making it. So 1 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 tablespoon of parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed, and 1 tablespoon of salt. And again, I like the Celtic and the pink Himalayan. We try to stay actually away from a lot of the table salt stuff because of the way that they are derived. Okay, or processed. The way they're processed, I guess, is more to the point. So then when you want to make this up as a dressing, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of your mix. And then a 1/4 cup of vinegar, 2/3 cup of oil, 2 tablespoons of water. And I like to add cayenne pepper flakes in mine. I like it zesty, right? That's how they consider zesty. And you can use celery salt instead of celery seeds. But if you do that, you need to adjust your salt levels if you have, salt issues. Just be cautious. So,
and if they like it just the vinegary, vinegary, just
and if you like it more vinegary, do that. And if you've never tried making vinegars with other things, making fruit and vegetable vinegars is delicious, and you can use them in different cooking things. So, can you guys see that? I'm probably just blurring the heck out of it. Babe, will you want me a cigarette too? Thank you. All right, so there's that one. Like I said, you guys can email me for ones you can't catch or didn't catch, or if I'm messing it up and you're just like, look, lady, I can't follow it. You're too scatterbrained. Can you just give me the recipe? And I will.
We'll email it to you.
All right. Let me see here. Oh.
Time you got there.
It is 3:18.
3:18.
I'm done. Oh, do you guys know how to make your own? Hey, you want me to give you? I'll give you. This is your free tip for the day. Okay. Cream cheese. Make it yourself. You're going to use a whole fat, whole milk, plain yogurt. Just a plain yogurt. All you got to do is strain it and let it drain for 24 hours. And you can do that with, you can put it in a sieve, one of those really tight mesh little sieves that you can use for flour, to do your flour or your powdered sugar or whatever. You can use cheesecloth. You can use a linen, so long as it's linen. You can use a linen towel or a linen napkin to do that. And then you're going to put it in what they call a mold, which could be a Tupperware bowl. Okay. You're going to use, again, you're going to use cheesecloth or linen, and you're going to wrap it. And then you're going to wrap that up inside your mold, which could be as simple as a Tupperware bowl. Okay. You're going to pop that lid on it, and you're going to refrigerate it for 1 week. When you pull it out, you're going to have the most delicious cream cheese that you never bought from the store. It's a beautiful thing. You can make your own yogurt and make your cream cheese from that as well. That's a very simple process as well. So, yeah, you guys aren't giving me much feedback about where to go from here. Oh, do you remember we were talking the other day about coconut oil, turmeric, cloves. I think you guys were having just a fantastic conversation in chat when I was talking about the essential oils. And I told you I would find the recipe for that drink, and it's a anti-inflammation drink. Okay, so you've got your, you're going to have a half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of turmeric, depending on, you're going to have to play with it, right? Start little and then add more if you don't, if you want to change the flavor a little bit. Then you're going to use Ceylon cinnamon or Saigon cinnamon. And the reason you're going to want one or two of those specific cinnamons is because they do not cause blood thinning. Okay? The properties of Ceylon cinnamon and Saigon cinnamon, no blood thinning. All right? Cloves, and you can just buy the spice. You can buy whole cloves, or you can get, ground cloves. We actually buy whole cloves, and then we grind them as needed for, like, when I make my apple butter, I'll grind some and I'll put some in whole, and then I'll strain them out later. Just because we like the flavor and we use them in other things. So, so you're going to want cloves. You're going to want vanilla extract, black pepper, as many cracks as you can get, because the pepper, I think it's pepperishin. I'm probably wrong about that. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a property to black pepper that has a powerful anti-inflammatory property to it. You're going to put a little bit of ginger in it, coconut oil, warm water, and honey, and that's it. And start small with all of it and adjust the flavor how you want it, right? Some people like sweeter tea, and other people like it not so sweet. So, know your palate and adjust accordingly. But this is a really good drink. I've had it. We made it in these big mugs one winter, and because I have arthritis in my spine and my hips and a couple other places, but those are the parts that bother me the worst. And so this really helped me over the winter last winter when we had the really deep colds come in. It really did. It helped loosen up some of that tightness and that inflammation that I was having, and it calmed down a lot of the pain. So it was really nice to have. Right on. Yeah, I like turmeric in my rice too. I have preferences with my rice. I like jasmine and I like basmati, and those are my two favorite rices because of how they cook up and because of the texture of them. But I like rice in general. Those are just my favorites. And they're very aromatic. So, all right. So, you guys, what other kind of recipes are you interested in? Do you want my French dressing recipe? Do you want the dandelion jelly? We make, like, when we do birthday cakes, when we, my dream is to someday have a home bakery, that where I can just bake and be happy and bake and make other people happy with my baked goods. And so I found a lot of ways to do things from scratch, and we make our own fondant. Because I don't like the fondant that they sell in the stores. I don't like the fondant that a lot of bakeries use. I think it's disgusting, and it might make the cake look pretty, but it makes the taste incredibly terrible. And I don't know about y'all, but I normally remember the taste of food more than the look of it. A pressure cooker bread recipe. Yes, I will find that for you, Southern, and I will get that to you. I will find one of those specifically for you. So I'm going to give you guys my easy marshmallow fondant recipe, and it is delicious. And if you get those little candy flavorings that they sell at Christmas time, everywhere, they taste like really soft Starburst, but everything that's in them. So that's another way to make candies too for yourself and your family. All right, Dana, I'll do the French dressing recipe in a minute. Yeast packets. Southern, you can make yeast is naturally occurring in the environment. So if you have the flour and something to feed it or time to feed it, like they used to do bread on a breadboard, right? They'd make the dough, they'd knead it some, and then they'd let it set overnight. And the natural bacteria in the air would cause it to rise because it would cause the yeast to form and start feeding. So you don't, yeast is helpful, but you could look into how to make your own sourdough yeast starter. And if you have sugar and flour and water, the yeast is going to naturally occur. So we'll talk more about that. Maybe we'll do an episode about that. All right. So the fondant, you can use marshmallows or you can make your own marshmallows. I thought I had my marshmallow recipe out. Marshmallows are essentially sugar, so powdered sugar. Hold on, guys. I'll get it together. I warned you guys I wasn't organized. You just didn't think it was this bad. No, I pulled them out to look through them and then realized that I wasn't live, and then I just threw them back in here and I didn't reorganize them. Well, I don't have it up here right now, but I do have it, and I will find it, and maybe we'll do something later about that. But we usually make our own marshmallows, and it's like powdered sugar and water. You bring it to a boil, and then you pull off, and you let it sit and get sticky, and they set up like marshmallows, right? So it's really not that much. I can't remember if you use butter in that or not. Gosh, howdy, I don't remember. I'll find my recipe for it, and I'll give you guys specifics. But yeah, so then we use our homemade marshmallows, and then we use and then it's powdered sugar, water, and butter for greasing so that it'll come off the pan. You want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
And she's our witness about the marshmallow fondant. Do you like Mom's marshmallow fondant?
Yeah.
What did we make it into?
For my 7th birthday?
I think so. Something like that.
So on my 7th birthday, I had a Minecraft themed birthday party.
They're saying hello, Raina.
And it was a Minecraft cake.
And you helped. And what did we make the leftover fondant into?
Do
you remember?
Yeah.
We made them into cherry starbursts. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we made our own starburst candy, and we favor the starburst. We like the starburst. So yeah, you can get those little candy flavorings and add them into your marshmallow fondant, and they taste just like little starburst, only they're not as hard. They're nice and soft, and you can simply wrap that up and put it, wrap it up in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge, and you're good, and then just roll it back out when you need it. It stays good for quite some time, but we usually end up turning them into candies for everybody to snack on around the holidays. And my nephew and my brother-in-law make homemade rock candy every year, so it's just, that's what we do. We make our own cookies and our own candies for the holidays. Oh man, I would love to do custom cakes, Maria, because I'm actually an artist. I love to paint, and I do a bunch of different things, but yeah, baking's kind of, it's its own little art form, right? And I want to do that so bad, but I'm not in an area for it, and I won't move to a city where there is an area for it. I just can't. I can't do that. I can't do that kind of living. So yeah, and don't forget there are other sources of sugar when the sugar does run out, right? You can get maple sugar. You can you can get any of your fruits if you're cooking them down for preservation. If you cook that syrup down at the end, there's your sugars. So just like molasses is a derivative of sugar, so or it comes after the process, you know, of them making the granulars. But French dressing, I just had it. All right, so this is my ruby red French dressing recipe. You guys ready? 1 cup of olive oil, and this is not a dry mix, guys. This one is a wet dressing. No matter how you go about it, I never could find a dry mix for it, but we like it. So 1 cup of olive oil, 2/3 a cup of ketchup. I can teach you how to make your own ketchup. We'll do that on, I'll do a video about that too. 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of white vinegar, 2 tablespoons finely chopped onion, and fresh is better in this recipe unless you plan on making this ahead and letting it set, so that if you're going to use minced onions, so that they can rehydrate and the flavor can start to, you know, infuse in the dressing. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of dry mustard. I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. That would be way too much mustard. Sorry, guys. 1 teaspoon of paprika. And again, this is one of those places you could use that smoked paprika, and it changes the flavor in a really nice way. It gives that little smokiness to it. Ah, it's good. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of ground pepper. And again, you can take the salt out, or at least try to use a healthier salt. For a lot of years, I did not cook with salt at all, but my husband would then oversalt his food because he likes salt. So our little meat in the middle was, if we have to have salt, it has to be pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt or something with high mineral content, so that we're getting the benefits of it rather than just the flavors, you know. So with those salts, you get a little bit more benefits and the flavor than if you didn't have any at all. So so yeah, and then you just combine, shake, and refrigerate for at least 3 hours, and voila, you have some French dressing. And I'll show that up there for you guys. Oh man, that's so blurry. I'm sorry. Again, you guys can email me for any of these, okay? I have a ton of these, so I don't want to stay on here for a long time today. I have a lot of things to do. It's laundry day. I'm trying to get laundry done. So, if you guys, I mean, I've mentioned a couple of them. If anybody's interested in the dandelion jelly, we'll do that. Homemade saltines or homemade tortilla chips, if you guys have tried any of those or would like me to put that up, or any of the healthy recipes. Which one, Dana? The French? I'll send you the French if you want it, and the dandelion. Girl, just call me. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, I'll read them off. If you're not, we can do another thing about this later. It's just, we try to make as many things from scratch as we can, because that's the best way that I found to still enjoy a lot of different things without all the preservatives. And then it makes our shopping list a lot easier too, because then I can go buy a 25 or 50-pound bag of flour and know that I've got all the uses in the world for it, right? And I keep a bakery bin of flour, and we usually have a bakery bin of sugar because my husband has a sweet tooth, and because I like to bake. I like to bake a lot, but I do try to use more like molasses or syrups. My email is on the about page of our channel. Like if you go to our channel and then you go to the about tab, our email is in there. And if you cannot find it, here it is: onotwoods@gmail.com. Okay. onot woods@gmail.com. You got pillow? This is our pillow. This is pillow art. We call him Pillow My Pillow. Long before Mr. Pillow came about. This is our Mr. Pillow.
Yeah.
I found this guy on the side of the road with his little sister, and they could fit in my hand. They were barely 3 weeks old. He's my little baby now.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately,
Mr. Tail.
his sister passed,
Yeah.
and we've had him since.
Yeah, you're twitching. Don't give attitude. You're just fine. All right, guys. Yes, thank you, Southern. Thank you, thank you. All right, guys, I hope you found this helpful. If there are certain topics you guys want us to cover, drop us a comment. You know we will. If we don't know about it, we will find somebody that does, or we will find the information and share it along to you. We're all about helping you, right? So this is the way we can help. This is the way we do things. I try to do as much, like I said, from scratch as I can without it being a big, long process. I'm not into 5 hours at the stove, and we try to we conserve things. Or in the winter, we don't use the gas burners for much except to make coffee, which I'll show you our coffee pot. We have this. This is our coffee pot. It's my favorite coffee pot ever made. And you know why? Because I can take this camping with me. I can use this in my kitchen in the mornings. It's not a big deal. I put it on the stove. I put my coffee in the basket. I boil the water. I percolate my coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever drank, and I love it. Like I said, if power goes out, I can still have coffee, right? Electric goes out, I still have coffee. All I need is a flame. So, and then in the wintertime, we cook on our wood stove, which is not a wood cook stove. It's just a wood stove. But I can cook on the top because there are areas. And then I'm good for throwing stuff in there. Like we'll do hobo type style meals, where you put it in the packet and then pop it in there. And I'll do stuff like that too. Oh, awesome, Maria. Thank you. No, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, it's the little things in life. And I think if we can come away from some of the things, the material things, and start learning the skills to survive without those things, we'll be happier for it. We'll be more content because we won't feel a lack because we'll have the knowledge. And when there is knowledge, there is no lack if you're applying it. So it's my perspective. I do realize there are things in the world that are really nice to have, and there are things that are needed. I'm not like anti-technology or anything like that. Technology's made great progresses. I just feel like it's being used for entirely the wrong reasons. And so that's why we're doing this. We're doing this to try to use it for a good reason to help people. So that's my take on it. And we'll see you guys next time on our neck of the woods, because Mom's got to go do stuff. So light and love you all, and have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, if you guys have comments or suggestions or questions, Recipe for Freedom. I love you, Southern. You're the best, man. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And if you guys have topics that you would like us to cover, I'm willing to cover any topic, okay? Any topic, because if it helps teach somebody something else, I'm all down with it. So just give us a holler. We'll see y'all later. Love and light. Bye-bye.